Today is the 28th day of the crisis in Ukraine, and millions of Ukrainians are searching for safety as this war wages on into a fifth week. And joining us now is Dr. Liam Anderson, professor of political science at Wright State University. Great to talk to you, as always, Dr. Anderson. And I want to start with reports of continuing success of Ukrainian forces in taking back land. Kyiv Mayor Vitaly Klitschko saying that they have taken back multiple northwest suburbs of Kyiv. This follows reports over the last several days of Ukrainians going on the offensive. Are we now starting to see a shift as to who is dictating on the battlefield?
Well, assuming these reports are true, I think it demonstrates the Ukrainians are still up for a fight here, but I don't think it changes anything fundamental about the dynamics of this, which is that the disparity in military power that can be brought to this between Ukraine and Russia makes it very, very difficult for Ukraine to think about actually winning a conventional war against Russia. I would also point out, it's not clear to me exactly what Russia's trying to do with with Kiev. But, I'm looking to the south of the country where the territory is much more important to Russia. And so down on off the Crimean Peninsula and so on. And there, the Russians continue to make slow but kind of steady progress.
Doctor, continuing peace talks have yielded next to nothing. There were reports earlier this week that Ukraine might be willing to guarantee Russia that it would not join NATO in exchange for Russia guaranteeing Ukraine's sovereignty. Isn't that believed to be a major reason why Russia invaded in the first place? Therefore, wouldn't that be a win for Russia?
Yeah, it was certainly a major factor in this conflict. And I mean, it's a win. It would be a win. Whether it's a big enough win, given the scale of Russia's operation here, I don't know. I mean, what Russia has said is they also want Ukraine to recognize Crimea as officially part of Russia and to recognize the independence of the two separatist regions in the east of the country. And then, once you get there, you're into a Ukrainian president basically signing away territory, which would be a very bitter pill for Ukraine to swallow. And I don't think we're at the stage in the war where any of that's actually viable right now. So hopefully in the future it will be, but not now.
Dr. Anderson, more warnings from President Biden that Vladimir Putin could use chemical or biological weapons. And Russia's certainly been churning the propaganda machine, saying that the U.S. and Ukraine are the ones getting ready to use chemical or biological weapons. If those weapons were used by Russia, what would NATO's response likely be?
Well, I think NATO's policy isn't going to change, which is a pretty clear red line that NATO will not do anything that will risk a direct military confrontation with Russia. So, I mean, we can stand on the sidelines and berate Russia if Russia goes to in that direction. But I also don't think it makes a lot of sense for Russia to do this. It doesn't mean it won't happen. I'm assuming Ukrainian troops will be protected, or at least we can provide them with the protective gear necessary. So it would just be killing civilians, and it doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to me. So I don't think this is going to be an issue.
And it seems like today, Dr. Anderson, we're in the same place we've been for the last several weeks as well, a stalemate in much of Russia right now. But Dr. Liam Anderson, professor of political science at Wright State University. Thank you so much, Dr. Anderson, for joining us once again.
Pleasure.